regular thing. Yep.
Okay. Hey, here we go, we're recording.
I'm a pro. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Groom U. I'm Joanne. Welcome to part 2. And we have Nancy Sear with me. And we have Miley, my little Miley, yes. So I've had Miley since she's been 6 weeks old. And I did not do the proper thing. You know I am perfect, but not with dogs. So Miley has issues. Miley does not like to be touched. She doesn't even like when I pet her head. I try to pet her head and, well, she's making a liar out of me right now. Usually she tries to get away from me. If I try to have Nancy touch her, she doesn't want anything to do with anybody. She's been better because I've been taking her to agility with Nancy. So Nancy's been working with me on agility, but now since, Corona's been, now we can't do agility anymore, but she's come a long way. She's actually been going to a lot of men now and a few women here and there, but she still has a little issues with Nancy. And I think it's because she knows Nancy is the boss. Nancy's the alpha dog. So when I try to hand it to Nancy, she doesn't want to go to her. So I brought Miley today to work with Nancy. So I am we have to social distance.
Before we start, I want to explain something, okay? When you're working with a dog that's insecure and fearful, you don't, okay, let me back up a bit. What everyone does when the dog is afraid of something, and almost everyone does this, they say, it's all right. And what you've just said to your dog is that it's all right to be afraid. Remember I said about the brain and then how exact everything is in the dog's brain. You never say, it's okay. You tell them to cut it out. And the story I love to tell that is so clear on what goes on in the dog's brain is I had a German Shepherd, a male, year-old, wonderful dog, very stable, never was afraid of anything. And I'm walking up, I lived on 114 in North Andover. For some reason, I was walking up that road with my dog, and all of a sudden, the dog got afraid. And it pulled back, and it was fearful. And I went, really? What it was a fire hydrant. And it's a male dog, so it was really ridiculous. I grabbed the dog's collar. I told him to cut it out. I dragged him to that fire hydrant, made him sniff it as I'm saying, now see, that was ridiculous to be afraid of that. The dog went, oh, and was never afraid of another thing. It built a confidence in that dog. So if you say that it's all right, then you're going to make them more and more fearful. You never do that. Okay, so now we're going to work with this dog, and I'm going to reach, because of COVID, and I'm going to say, come here, get over here. And I'm not going to let her cower. Now, I have worked with her before. Down, stay. And see, I have my finger in the collar, and we've worked before, so that's why she's a lot better with me. But look at where my hand is. I'm controlling her head. She knows I don't even want her to pull her head all the way back. It's got to be where I want it, looking at me. I can see in her eyes she's a little worried, and see what my fingers are doing? Firmly patting the dog. And the other thing, you don't let them take their paws and push you away. I take the paws, I put them down, and I make them do this, and I say, good dog, when they're doing it right. And she is doing it very right. And see how firm I'm patting this dog. She's still worried. I can see it in her eyes, but she's accepting it. And that is the thing that is most important for people to understand. Your dog does not have to like things. She just pulled her head away, and I corrected her. They don't have to like it. Just like we don't have to like half the things that happen to us. We don't want to get a shot or have our blood drawn, but we have to accept it. And that's the important thing about working with your dog. You have to teach the dog that they need to accept whatever you do to them. And by getting them to do that, you are actually developing confidence in the dog. You're taking away their anxiety and their fear, the fear of the unknown, because they know what's going to happen. They know that you're the boss. They know that they can trust you. That's right. So she's still looking at me like, oh, I'm not sure, but she's accepting what I'm doing. When I started with this dog, she would not stay still. She was so petrified of me. Nope. See, I didn't let her turn her head away from me. It sounds like those little things, who cares if the dog doesn't look at you, turns away? It's all it's all connected. It's all connected to the next problem the dog has and the next problem. If you solve this and get them secure and make them understand, then they're going to be confident and they're not going to be fearful of things. That's right. That's a good girl. Yes, sir. And you see how I'm firm? And she's going, oh my God, she's scrunching. I'm not going to let her scrunch. If she was fearful and she rolled over on her back, I would take her and do this. Oh, see how she put her foot on me? I'm putting the foot down. No, that's it. I'm going to do this to her. And now I'm going to go into the next part, which is really how to raise a puppy. And you should do this be able to do this with any dog. She says, oh my God, what are you going to do now? Okay. You know, if you can't pull this leg out, now she's accepting it because she knows that I'm boss, but she just tightened it. I'm not going to force it, but I'm not going to let her pull it back. I just put steady pressure on her. Now, why is this important? What happens if you have a joint problem with your dog and you take that dog to your vet? How's the vet going to check this knee if he can't do this? I like to tell this story. It's about Dr. Pole. I think I can say that. And he's on television, and I'm watching his program, and one of his vets who he trained, anyway, she had a dog come to her, and the dog was limping, but the owner didn't know just where it was or anything, and so they did the x-rays, but they couldn't find anything. So the vet needed to pull the legs, right, to figure out what's going on and manipulate. But every time you touched the dog, she just pulled back and then released it. Good girl. Every time she would touch a leg, the dog screamed with every single leg. And the vet had to finally say, look, I can't figure out what's going on. I can't do anything for your dog other than maybe give it some anti-inflammatory, some meds. But I don't really know what's going on because I can't evaluate your dog. And so he had to just go home. If he had taken that dog and got it used to this, she says, oh my God, You heard what happened just then is that she tried to pull her leg away from me. The is a very good correction because it's sharp. And now she's letting me do this. So, stop. Good. That's very good. Correction, followed by praise. Good girl. So every time she pulled back, I held. I didn't let her pull back. I didn't pull against her because we don't want to injure her. But I didn't let her pull back. And I gave her the correction followed by the praise. Isn't that right? That's right. The other thing that you is important to do is rubbing their muzzle. Stop. Good dog. Did you see that jerk that I did? And then she accepted it. Good dog. Rubbing the muzzle, especially a dog. Stop. Don't let them. I put the head here. She wants to get away from me. She picked her head up, and I gave her the correction with the phrase, good girl. Stop. To be able to open the dog's mouth. You know, when you get a dog, you have to take care of that dog. And you can't take care of the dog if you can't control it. The thing that gets me the most upset is when somebody says, the dog won't let me. I have a friend, I've been doing her dogs for 35 years, obviously different dogs. I think her husband raised the other dogs, because after he died, the dog that she got wasn't well behaved. And she couldn't clean the eye because the dog wouldn't let her, because it would bite her. There are certain breeds, especially in the terrier family, that if you push them, they'll bite you to get their own way. So you have to win. You have to. You can't live with a dog that you're afraid of. So you have to control them. You have to get them to accept this. Now, I've just cleaned her eyes. She started pushing my hand away, and then she says, oh, I guess I have to accept this. They don't have to like it. They have to accept it. The story of the person I was just telling you about is when the dog got to 13 years old, it developed an eye infection. She took it to the vet. They gave her eye ointment. Guess what? The dog wouldn't let her put the ointment in her eyes. The dog would bite her. That's right, because she pulled away. Oh, it's going to bite me. I go right for that mouth. That's why I do lots of this. Okay? I don't want to get bit, but I will hold the mouth so it can't bite me and get it used to it, get it to accept me, keep doing it. You find the thing they don't like, you do more of it, you do it continuously until they accept it. Long story with this gal, I went in to groom the dog, and the eyes, all the skin, all underneath was all excoriated, all sore from the drainage. So I have to go there more often. Obviously, the dog lets me do it because she doesn't have a choice. She knows it. And after 3 years, the woman says to me, how come that eye infection's not cleared up yet? And I said, it's because you didn't put the ointment in the eye twice a day like you were supposed to. But I'm able to keep it under control. But that's because she never became the boss of that dog, never explained to that dog that it had to behave. It had to accept things. So when they don't, I look for the thing they don't like, so she doesn't like this, and I keep doing it. And eventually they accept it. Does it just solve this problem? No, it solves all the problems of the dog's confidence and understanding where they are in the pack, in the pecking order. Ed, stop, good dog. See? Moving the legs. You're doing a good job. Yes, you are. The firm padding gives them confidence. If the dog tries to get up on its own, I have it on the back, and they try to pull away and get around. I stop right there until I have control. I will turn this dog. This is all part of the control. I had someone say to me once, isn't the dog going to be afraid of you and not like you? And 2 seconds later, their dog gave me a kiss. Isn't that right? See how she's pushing me away? That's not allowed. Oh, you can't quite see it. But it's not allowed. I will push her legs down and have her go like this, and I'll put my face right in her face. That's right. even pulling the fur. They have to accept that. Stop. Stop. Good dog. Very good. That was good demonstration, so you could see that, how you handle that. This is all part of it. And when they learned to accept all this, then you can take care of your dog. Remember, dogs came to us from wolves because we could take care of them. Initially, we could feed them. Our job is to take care of the dog. You cannot take care of the dog if you can't handle the dog. You can't brush the coat. The coat gets all matted. You expect the groomer to do this and you can't do it? Come on. The groomer is the teacher for your child. If your child hasn't learned how to behave, you can't send it to school. They'll kick them out. You can't teach a kid reading, writing, and arithmetic if it hasn't learned how to behave. The same with a dog. When you take a dog to a groomer, that dog needs to stand there on the table and accept touching the rear end, the tail, this, and even your dryer. Expose it to the hair dryer. What is socializing a dog? People think socializing a dog is taking it around other dogs. No. Socializing a dog, especially you do this, you've got until they're 6 months old to establish this. It's taking them to all kinds of different experiences, noise, cars, drop a bowl, brush them, take the hair dryer, put that near them, get them used to it. Get them used to water on their face. Get them used to everything. That's socializing your dog. And I'll tell you that where I take, especially my German Shepherds, to socialize them is at Boston Public Gardens. I don't know if Boston wants me to say this, but it is the best place because you get the noise, you get the scooters, you get the carriages, you get the animals, and you make your dog accept everything that's going on. And then you will have a well-adjusted dog. I'm going to give this dog back to Joanne, and I'm going to show you what you should be able to do with your dog. Come here. Sassy, come. Good girl. Up. Good girl. You should be able to put your dog on the lap. If it's a big dog, they should lay on the floor on their back because this is a submissive position for them. You should be able to pull their legs, spread them. See her? She should be completely relaxed. I can do all this. Once in a while, she'll give you a bad time and start to resist me, and I'll do the correction, and she will accept it. You should be able to do this, pull the tail, this, open the mouth. We've been neglecting teeth for years. It now costs a fortune to get your dog's teeth done, and by the time you bring him, he has to pull out the teeth. So we need to brush our dog's teeth. We need to keep our dog's teeth clean. How do you do that if the dog doesn't like it and wants to bite you? Open the dog's mouth. Check. Move the gums back. You should be able to do all this. Stop. Go into the ears. If this kind of dog, especially that has fur growing in the ears, then you need to be able to pull on that. You don't have to pull it out yourself. You can let the professionals do that, that's fine. But just pull on it. Get the dog used to this. Get them to accept all this. And then you have a great dog that gives you kisses. This dog had an abscess in between her toes last fall. And it was very painful. I found it because she was limping. And I looked at her feet. Oh, big abscess. Because of the way I raised her, and remember this is a terrier, I was able to put a needle in that and squeeze that out, and it hurt her. And her head was like, because it was hurting her. But she knew I was helping her. She had faith and confidence in me. If I didn't have that, take it to the vet, they would have had to put her under anesthesia or give her medicine. I was able to clear it up so simply because she accepted that. She trusts me. Isn't that right? Okay, good girl. Down. Stay. Okay. Now, we were talking about dogs and how, if I take, we were talking about the pecking order on the pack. When everybody wants to I go to the vet and they want their dog to come and play with my dog. I'm never going to see these people again. The dog, I have my dogs in a downstay next to me or under the bench, and their dog comes to me. Now, because my dogs are terriers, they're going to want to push their weight around. But they've been taught, no, they don't do that. I'm the alpha. So, and I do things instinctively, and because I had to teach people, I had to figure out what I was doing that created these dogs that behaved. It didn't go after all the dogs, strange dogs, whatever. So what I did was, I went into the dog show where there's lots of dogs close to each other, and I have to walk through there, which I've done millions of times with my dogs. But I paid attention to what I was doing, how I accomplished this. And what I realized that I was doing was, first thing I did, and you'll be taught not to do this, but in this case, it's a cue to them, I tightened up their line. They know that they are not allowed, I do not allow them to go and pester other dogs. They are to ignore those dogs. Well, how do I get them to do that? By saying to them, I'm the alpha and I will keep you protected. I will keep every other dog away from you, except for the dogs that they're going to be seeing on a regular basis, and then you allow them to do their little positioning. Okay, so when I walked into the dog show, I realized that what I was doing, I did that instinctively. My 2 dogs, short lines, I always had 2 dogs back then, under control. They were behaving. If they growled or they acted in any other way except for ignoring everything, they were corrected. I looked around. I scanned the whole dog show. Okay, we'll finish with this. I scanned the whole dog show, and I said I would look at the eyes of all these dogs. Now, because at their dog shows doesn't mean they're well behaved. A lot of these dogs pretty much live with handlers and crates, and I don't know what they think, but I can tell what they're thinking by the look in their eyes. When I saw a dog that was questionable, I stayed away from that dog. So I protected my dog. And one more story that really tells it. I was on a hike last fall, and on the way out of the trail, this woman's coming down the trail, and she has a chocolate lab. I could see it's a nice, friendly dog, off leash. The dog is running towards my dog. My dog immediately is snugged up, and I immediately go like this to her dog, keeping her dog away from my dog. She said to me, my dog's friendly. I said, I know. You love your dog. I love my dog. That's what leashes are for. And I think I finally got through to someone that day that it doesn't matter whether your dog is friendly or not. They're not in the same pack. They do not have to come together and establish a pecking order, because even the dogs in the center of the pack, which is mostly, like I said, your sporting dogs, they still have a little bit of adjustment to make in their status. So we will continue with this in the next session and finish up, I think, in the next session.
Yeah. Yeah, and people don't realize the lab that went after Delta, remember? It
Yeah.
was, some labs can be.
You
remember
don't know the
issue?
dog. You
No,
don't know. You have to be aware and looking for, if you're in a tight area with your dog, keep your dog snug to you so you can protect them. That's your job, is to protect them.
I had
and be
Delta-
ready to push that other dog away.
I had Delta on the side
You
of me.
did your
and I
job.
stopped, and I had a funny feeling, and the guy couldn't hold his dog down. So
Right.
I
Things
tell
happen.
everybody, after that, keep your dog next to you. You do never know. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this show. We have one more, I think one more,
One
right?
more.
Because you
Yeah,
show them
one
how to
more, we'll do
control
it.
the dog. People don't know how to walk their dogs.
I know.
noticed.
We'll be working
I
on that
noticed
next
that
time.
too. So, but I hope you guys are enjoying the show, and you can see I don't work with Miley, you know, and I do need to work on her. So anyway,
Well, she's come a long way.
yeah, she
She
has.
really has.
So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. We got one more coming up, and I hope you enjoyed it. And we got one more coming up. Thank you. Have a nice day.